Welcome to Booked and Bonded, live from the realm of books, banter, and best friend chaos. We're your hosts, Lizzie
and Larissa.
So grab a snack, get a fun drink, and let's get bonded over fourth wing.
Alright, so let's start it off with our snacks and beveraginos of the day. What do you got?
I got a peach iced tea in my, I don't know if you can see it well, but they're books and they're each Taylor Swift's albums. It only goes up to 10, but...
That cup is so cute.
Thanks! I love it. And then I actually have a snack this episode. And I got some cashews.
Cashews!
Yeah.
Are you a fan of cashews, like, in all different types of nuts? I know there are some people that are, like, very specific about the types.
So I like a lot. I think my least favorite would be walnut. The texture gets to me.
Yeah,
but,
they're, like, grittier.
Yeah. But other than that, I love cashews, peanuts, almonds, pecans are good on pies.
Facts.
And then, what are the pistachios? What is your snack and drink?
Alright, so my husband got me a caramel iced coffee this morning, so I have that. And then he also got me an egg and sausage McMuffin, so I'm enjoying breakfast right now.
Love it. I love it. This is our first episode. Well, first, true episode we're getting into a book. Are you excited?
I am excited. I'm also kind of nervous, but I think it's going to be so much fun to start breaking it down.
That's true. But
do you have any bookish life updates since the last time we chatted?
I am almost done. I am this close to be done with the graphic novel of Harry Potter. I'm at chapter 14, and I believe there's only 17 chapters roughly around there. So I'm so close to being done with that, and I'm so excited. And that is the only book I'm currently reading, so I'll have to find a couple new ones other than Fourth Wing.
I just finished the Harry Potter graphic audio. I'm so excited for the next one because of how good the first one was. Also, I assume this will be over by the time this goes up, but, getting that extra credit because I was one of the first to finish it, let me get a different audiobook. So I got the audiobook for the book that I've been reading on a physical copy just so that I can read it while I'm doing other stuff.
I love that. I love being able to switch over. Well, the other current read, Fourth Wing. Are you ready?
Yeah. Are you? I
think before we start, we have to make it clear. There are spoilers. There are going to be spoilers. Both Larissa and me have read all 3 of the books that are out of the Empyrean series. We are doing this podcast in this way so we can truly deep dive. So there are going to be spoilers. So this is your warning now. There are going to be spoilers. And if you don't want to, pause, read the 3 books real quick, and then come back. And then you'll be good. So
just really quick, read all 3 books, get them all down.
They're all 700 pages each. It's fine.
It's fine. You'll get them done in an hour.
You'll be so good.
Okay, so today we are talking about chapters 1 through 3, yes?
Yes.
All right, so if you're reading along with us, today is chapters 1 through 3 of Fourth Wing, the first book in the Empyrean series. Are we ready? It is officially time to open the archives.
I have a notepad that I write my thoughts during the chapter. Mm-hmm. And then I have what I'm calling my master notebook, where it has separate sections for main points and plots. And then I have a section of things that I want to talk about in our episode, and it's 3 pages long.
So for me, I didn't go through and put anything in my master notebook yet. I was waiting until I got more of the information that I was looking for. But I did write everything down that I wanted to in my original notebook, because when I'm taking notes and when I'm reading, all I'm thinking about is what the heck is happening? Why is it happening? What's going on? Everyone is suspicious. What the heck is that thing over there? And why are we distracting from it? So I just needed a place I could dump everything first and then organize later.
Fair enough. Well, in the Empyrean series and in Fourth Wing, every chapter starts with like a little quote. It could be from a particular book, it could be from just a someone, or it could be from a letter, but Rebecca puts these little quotes in.
The diegetic preface. So, the first one we absolutely have to talk about is the one that comes before the book even starts.
Okay, lay it on me.
The following text has been faithfully transcribed from Navarian into the modern language by Jasenia Neilwort, curator of the Scribe Quadrant at Basgiath War College. All events are true, and names have been preserved to honor the courage of those fallen. May their souls be commended to Malik. There is so much to talk about there, and I could not go through and not talk about it if we're going in order.
That's fair. Okay, you're right. You're right.
So, the first thing that I noticed was that it says it's transcribed from Navarian to the modern language, which I assume is supposed to imply English, but I don't know. That's one thing I noticed.
Okay.
I just wrote down as like a note that Jasenia is the curator of the Scribe Quadrant at Basgiath War College. I wanted to pay attention to what her title is each book and see if it changes. Because I feel like I remember it being different at some point.
She's definitely not at the beginning of the series, that when we first meet her.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I definitely feel like that's one of the higher up titles in the Scribe Quadrant, but I don't know for sure because we haven't met the scribes yet.
Plus, scribes are a little private.
That is true.
So, all right. And then it says, may their souls be commended to Malik, which is super concerning to many Fourth Wing readers, considering we're talking about a book. We're talking about a book where everybody dies, okay? Like, we know everyone dies. So if she's saying, may their souls be commended to Malik, she is saying, she's alive, everyone else, souls commended. Bye, you're gone.
No, I'm sorry. Rejected.
That's literally the first thing we read from this book, is that everyone is dead. But it could mean something else, so I have another option based on the words.
It could mean, like, it could just mean the people that did die, or something else.
Lizzie, do you want to tell everybody who Malik is?
Okay. In Fourth Wing, there are 6 gods. And Malik is the god of death. The king of gods, some may say.
So, we have souls of everyone in this book being commended to the king of death, or you said the king of the gods, right?
Yeah.
But commended could possibly mean, other than just like sending their souls off, it could mean praised formally or officially, presented as approvable or acceptance. So, if they go through this book and they're killing a ton of people, and they're going through war, the god of death might really appreciate the things that they've done and all of the hard work they've put into it. So I'm hoping it's that.
I like that option better. That makes my heart a little bit happier, because I have read this book, I don't know, like 6 times, and right over my head. Dang. Hitting me hard, day one.
Well, it's literally the first thing that's written. Like, we have to accept the fact, and she said it before, Rebecca Yarros herself has said it, people will die, and you will not be happy.
She is not afraid to kill off anyone, which is so concerning. Well, speaking of people dying,
yeah,
chapter 1 begins.
Chapter 1, we have this is the official word for it. Instead of quote, it's epigraph.
Epigraph.
The chapter 1 epigraph.
Epigraph.
We're being official. We're so fancy. We know these words.
I now know these words.
I wouldn't have remembered them if I didn't write them down.
The epigraph for chapter 1 is: a dragon without a rider is a tragedy. A rider without a dragon is dead. Article 1, Section 1 of the Dragon Riders Codex. Most iconic line, I think, any fourth wing rider.
We're all riders now.
Or not yet. Not yet. We all know it. I think even people that don't know fourth wing know it.
Have heard it at least once on TikTok or something. Okay. Do you want to start talking about your thoughts on that quote?
I think it's just to bring that the relationships between dragons and riders, they are like they need each other. Mm-hmm. But in the end, dragons don't really need us. And it's just that relationship that you are connected so much to this super, super powerful beast. And don't die. That is my thoughts.
Yeah, perfect. It definitely is probably the most iconic line from Fourth Wing that is well known. I don't know if it's the most iconic for readers, maybe, but it's definitely the most iconic for everyone outside of it who just knows about these books. A codex, I looked this up, is an ancient manuscript text in book form. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it was all written down at first. It probably was, but it could have been like spoken through and like traditions that were talked about. But I think that when we're talking about the Dragon Riders Codex, it's important to know that these are things that have been passed through generations. This is something they've lived by. This is something they learn, live, and love, and that they will always follow. So it's important when we're reading this that we take those as guidelines that everyone else will be following throughout the book that are writers.
Yeah, it's like, these are the rules, these are the guidelines, no matter what. We can do awful things, but no matter what, these core values are what we're following. Mm-hmm. What we believe in. Oh, I like it.
Okay, are we ready to dive into chapter 1?
Yes. So chapter 1, we open up. It is the day of conscription. Basically, everyone is coming to Basgiath, which is the War College, to go into different quadrants. We have the riders, the healers, the scribes, and the infantry. And we open up to our main character of Violet Sorrengail getting ready and heading up to her mother's office. Her mother, who happens to just be Lilith Sorrengail, the general and head of the school.
So in like people talk, she is the supreme principal of the college.
And so we go in and we find out that Mira, who is Violet's sister, who Violet hasn't seen in several years because Mira is a rider and she went through the school and now she's out on the battlefield and is there trying to convince Violet's mom, Lilith, that Violet should not go to the Riders Quadrant. Which I don't think is working for Mira.
I think it's important to note that we already find out right at the beginning that, one, Violet is 20 years old because when you go to conscription day, you have to be 20. But also, she is very, very ill.
That's such a good point. Like, there's a reason she is not, like, fit for this. Like, there's a reason Mira is concerned. It's not just out of nothing.
She states that her bones are weak, she's fragile in that way. But it's also important to note right away, we see that Violet does not like being seen that way. She wants to be seen as someone who is strong and not sick, and not someone who is defined by something that hurts them.
Which is so relatable. You don't want to be defined as
that one thing.
That one thing. It's something that you strive your whole life for to prove otherwise. And it might not seem to other people, but people that are fighting against that stereotype, that label, it's something that's constant through their eyes, and it's hard to break because people make quick judgments, and a lot of people stay with those judgments even if they're proven wrong. So Violet is a fighter, and I respect her so much more from it.
Mira, her sister, is 26 years old. I do know that. So she's 26. She's 6 years older than Violet, who is 20.
Yes. Okay. Violet is now in the office. It is Violet, her mom, Lilith, and Mira having this conversation back and forth. Mira is saying, she's weak. She can't do it. Her mom's like, just because she's small doesn't mean so. And I'm not going to have a scribe in my family. And Violet's like, I'm right here. Don't talk shit about me.
Truly, that was the thing that I was going to mention. They're just talking about her, and she's just like, what the hell is happening?
I'm just picturing her being like,
you're talking about me. I'm right here. Let me talk for myself. As if she hasn't been training for 6 months for this.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We have to get to the point of Lilith. Okay, I'm just going to call her Violet's mom.
That's fine.
Or the general.
Mm-hmm.
Violet's mom told Violet she has to go into the Rider Cauldron. Violet, her whole life, is training, doing tests, reading books to become a scribe. She loves books. She's just that kind of Ravenclaw energy. But her mom, 6 months ago, like you said, no, you're becoming a writer. Fuck your dream. Why 6 months ago?
What happened in that 6 months that made her say, you cannot be a scribe, there will not be a scribe in my family, now you have to start training, right? So that's a good question, considering she could have been training her whole life to be.
If her mom knew she didn't want her to be a scribe, what happened to convince her mom?
At minimum, right after... I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Right after her dad passed away, which I use quotes because I'm not sure about that. But right after her dad passed away, she could have started training to be a writer, which could have been years of training.
True.
So what happened in that 6 months?
Didn't her dad pass away about a year ago, though? A little over a year.
Probably.
That's what I have in my notes. A little over a year ago. So when Violet was about, I'm saying about 18, 19.
So if she was 18, that was 2 years.
They said a little over a year, so I'm being generous, I guess.
Okay.
So, but it was from her dad, who was a scribe, a really good scribe. And that's who Violet has always, like, bonded with. Died, we'll say, a year ago.
Yeah.
And then 6 months happened, and her mom was like, ultimatum, no, you're not being a scribe. You're being a writer. Ma'am, you could have given her a year.
Yeah. You could have given her whole life if you wanted to.
Yeah, if it was truly like your husband still being alive was the only reason you weren't making her do it. Like, what happened? I don't know.
Even, like, after Scribe, if you think about all of the training she went through to make sure that she was bound, like, and safe for everything that she needed to do in life, the second option I would have given Violet after Scribe would be healer, not writer. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been my last thought as a mother.
And that's such a good point, especially, like, knowing what we know. Why rider?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand infantry, probably
front lines. That's
not great.
Scary.
Yeah, like if that's kind of on that second half with rider, but then you have healer, who is somewhat on the field if you're actually healing and mending, but also can be behind the scenes in a safer area.
And she has good relationships with the healers. She's been there. She knows what to do because they taught her what to do. So why not have that as her second choice?
I don't know. See, this is what I'm upset about. Like, Mama Sorengale, figure your shit out. So, we kind of went forward and said, Violet's dad is no longer with them. He was a scribe.
It says his heart finally failed. Finally.
So maybe he had some heart issues for a long time.
Well, they started after her brother passed away.
Yeah.
That's what it says, right?
So, yes, it does. So, she also had a brother. Quotes, because we don't know. Because who fucking knows in this book anymore?
Her brother's name is Brennan.
Brennan. And he was a writer as well, like her sister and her mom. And he passed away in one of the big battles about 5 years ago. So we got this timeline of 5 years. Then 4 years pass. And then her dad dies. 6 months. Then she starts training to be a writer. And now we're today. Craziness.
It is crazy. It's insane. Anyway.
So Mira and General Sorrengail are going back and forth. They are talking like Violet's not there. And then finally, they're not getting anywhere. Lilith has made her mind up. Violet's becoming a writer. There's no point.
Ifs, ands, or buts.
Ifs, ands, and buts. And then Mira leaves, and we have a little interaction with Violet and her mom alone. Actually, this might be when Mira's still here, but there's something I want to talk about. Something iconic with Violet is her hair, where she has brown hair, and then it fades into a steely silver at her tips. And her mom touches her hair and says something about the fever when she was pregnant with Violet, like, took it away from her. Do we think the fever is real? Or do you think the fever is just a lie, just a cover-up?
I think with everything that we know, I take everything as a lie until proven true. I don't trust what anyone is saying.
I agree. I do not think that she was actually ill during pregnancy. Maybe she was, and that's also why Violet is weaker and she has that illness. Or but I don't think the hair is, they talk about this hair way too much for it to be a lot more than her brittle bones, and they talk about those a lot.
Right. Yeah. I think that it is a hint towards what happens in book 3.
I agree.
What we find out and what we know.
And she knows.
And what we'll know more of.
And she knows.
She does know, which is interesting when you're going back through and rereading with everything that you know, although I don't remember much. But everything that we do know, it's crazy.
So she knows what happens, which means she knew something happened about all the shit that's happening with
everything.
I feel like we are running around this bush, and I just want to say it.
Well, I do have something to say that has nothing to do with any of that.
Okay, good.
Which goes to trustworthiness of the source. So if we're thinking about the diegetic preface...
I was going to say the epigraph.
What we know is that this book is from what Violet has told Jasenia as a secondhand party. Jasenia is now telling us what she remembers that Violet told her. Or what she believes should be told, because she is a scribe.
I cannot have you do that to my brain.
So my biggest concern is that, 1, tons of stuff was left out. 2, none of this is true and it's a cover-up. And 3, we're just missing pieces because it's word of mouth and human error.
If we wake up in book 5 and wake up and say it was all a dream, I'm gonna burn all of the books.
I know for a fact that won't happen because a scribe would not waste their time on a dream. Unless it was important to the history.
What if they were just writing a fun story?
Okay. Interesting. I don't think scribes are the writers. I don't think they're the ones who write. They're the ones who recount information and collect it and give the data. If we're looking at the people who write everything, it's been healers, it's been writers, it's been other people of importance that
journals.
These scribes just take information from.
That's a valid point. It could just be taking... We don't ever really notice Violet keeping a journal, really. Mm-hmm. But, she was a scribe. She would take notes. That would make sense for her. Mm-hmm. And so it would make sense that it is Violet taking her journal and being like, okay, now let me make a logical sense out of all of these.
This is the catalog of everything that's happened.
Yeah. And it obviously could take... Lilith could also have journals, which she could have taken. Other characters could have had journals that she could have taken to make a more full story or more full record. But that's a good point, that you're taking someone's thought of a situation and then the secondhand recap of the thought. Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh, I can't with... This is why I'm an accountant and not that. Okay.
Now that I had to get that off my chest before we got too far, because I'm concerned about our source from the beginning, from the very first sentence.
Oh my gosh, what's happening?
There are some things, if you go through and you're reading, pay attention to what's italicized. That is my biggest hint to people who are reading and trying to make assumptions and figure things out while they're reading.
Was there anything fun italicized in the chat, that chat?
The biggest one that I've noticed was just that I will not watch one of my children enter the scribe quadrant, Violet. I think that gives a hint that there's something bigger at play. It's not just an emphasizing I don't want my family there, because you could just say, I don't want my family in that. You could just say that. But it's italicized, meaning there's something else going on, and it is very important that you understand you are not going there.
Which we know is true!
Uh-huh.
Love it. Okay. So, the next kind of scene shifts, and Mira kind of... I call it, her taking Violet under her wing, and she's getting her prepped, so... Mira is talking through with Violet. She's like, okay, we gotta repack your stuff, and I got gifts for you. Here's all my advice. And that's kind of this section. And there's something I want to say. Green flag on Violet's case. So Mira's there, unpacking her rucksack, which is described to be roughly around 30 pounds. And Mira's like, girl, you need to lighten this up. And just takes out handfuls of books. And it's like, girl after my own heart. Violet is a reader girly. She's like,
I do love that.
I'm gonna go to this death college, and I'm gonna bring a good book.
I'm wondering what all of the books are. I want to have a catalog to list. we know two of them.
Oh yeah, we hear two. We hear two
of them.
So Violet is being like, oh, I want to keep all those, and Mira's like, you don't need any of these. Get rid of all of them. And one we hear about is the Dark Fables, which it's the book. It's
the book.
Important. And Violet talks about how her dad read them to her. It's one of her favorite books. It's becomes so important because it talks about, it even says in the chapter, because Mira doesn't know the wording, but it talks about wyvern and venom, and how if you take power from the wrong place, you become an evil red-eyed monster. And then you go back after reading and you're like, it's the book.
Mira literally says, quote, waiting to snatch you away to join their dark army. She tells us exactly what's gonna happen.
Yes. And then, but Violet doesn't get to keep the book. The only book or tome, I feel like they reference them as tomes a lot more. I think it's just like a word choice. But in my brain, they're interchangeable. Is a book of poison. So, like, plants and herbs and stuff. And
she said, quote, about killing people. I love that.
And Mira's like, yeah, that's fine. You can have that one. But then Mira does the sweetest big sister thing and has Violet turn around. She braids her hair into this beautiful crown. And I'll think about the hair, Violet says. Doesn't matter how short she cuts it, the silver fade is always there. Mm-hmm. So it is something magical about her hair. Like, no matter what, how short, she's always going to have the silver tips. She gives her new boots mm-hmm. that have more of a grip. And she gives her a vest, like a corseted vest, that is made out of dragon scales. And not just any dragon, Mira's dragon. And I think they're just like, they have such a good, healthy sister relationship. Like, they just love each other. And I love it.
They do. And Mira's a genius, by the way. She's like, I'm not letting my sister die. Here's what I can do. Yeah. I can get scales from my dragon, and I can get someone to shrink them down to put them on a vest for her to wear. Insane. My thoughts would never go there.
Yeah, and then she's like, my sister is not going to think about the shoes I need to wear for Parapet. Okay, I'm getting her new shoes. Okay, I know she likes wearing scribe stuff, which is usually neutrals, beiges, and she's like, no, we're getting leathers. We're getting tight clothes, because she's like, you have to walk across this parapet, which is described as an 18-inch wall you have to cross. That's really, really high. And she's like, I'm going to give you the best chance to survive. And I'm like, that's a sweet-ass sister. Like, go, Mira. We love her. Her mom doesn't do that.
No. Her mom's not going to do anything for her. But I think it's because her mom knows she's capable, which I kind of like about her.
I'm saying you can be capable, but you can also, like, hug your daughter. Just saying.
Facts. She's not perfect.
She's
definitely not.
You're saying.
Since we're talking about Mira's dragon, I do have some notes. I went through and I found the meaning behind names of dragons.
Oh, so smart. So smart.
Which I'm not going to do all of the ones that I found. I'll go through, like, in order of what we do. So Tyne, or Tiny, however you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's Tyne. That sounds right, but in my head I've been reading Tiny.
I feel like I've heard both.
But that is Gaelic for fire. So her dragon's name means fire, which is interesting because he's green.
Mira's signets are powers that each rider gets, and it's correlated through the dragon and the partner. It's through a relationship of how you get it. Mira has the ability to extend and weave wards. Wards are the things that power. They're kind of like a force field. Is kind of how I imagine them, and they protect from the enemies, which everyone believes right now are the Griffin Flyers in Paromial. So bad. The Griffin Flyers in Paromial. They also protect over other things, but we find out in Iron Flame, what do you need to light the ward stone, Larissa?
Genius.
You need fire!
You need fire! That is so smart.
Oh, I would not have thought about looking up their names. So smart.
I do have Violet's moms that we kind of skipped through, so do you want me to go back and do that?
Yeah, let's do that. Violet's mom.
Okay, so
we didn't
talk about her signet.
Yeah. So Violet's mom's signet is the ability to control storms, like the rain, the wind. I think that's pretty much it. Maybe cloudiness, maybe lightning. I don't know, but storms is what she can wield. What does her dragon's name mean?
Her dragon's name is Amser. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm probably not.
That's how
but
I pronounce
it is Gaelic for weather, season, time, and interestingly enough, tense, including past tense, present tense, and future tense. So I think that's going to be important.
Oh. So the weather makes sense. Storms, weather makes sense. But the time thing.
The time.
That is something I'm going to have to keep an eye out for.
Uh-huh. I think it's definitely a hint towards something. I just don't know what.
We don't know what yet.
Yep.
Oh, amazing. We love it. Oh. So Violet has this vest made from Time's scales, and they're all small and cute, and they protect her. And then Mira starts walking her to the rider's cauldron. She's just being a good sister, walking her sister to the first day of school, which happens to be at a war college where a lot of people die.
She's like, bye, love you, don't die. Mwah.
No, she says, don't let me be an only child.
Yeah, dude, I would be losing my mind. If my sister said that to me right before I had to go survive and then think about my dead brother.
I'm like, damn, Mira, okay, girl. That's a little bit of Lilith coming out of her. Okay, I don't have my book. So, you have to sign in to the Rider Cauldron. Before you climb Parapet, you have to sign in. You sign in with a scribe.
Captain Fitzgibbons.
The only thing I want to note about that is he is a scribe, and he seems very, very upset that Violet is in the line for riders.
Because, in theory, technically, he wished she was a scribe because he knows how brilliant she is.
And how useful she could be. That's the only thing I wanted to describe. But
before we even get to the parapet, Mira has some last advice on who to stay away from and who to go to for help.
Yes.
As soon as Violet crosses the parapet, because her sister is now like, well, you're going to live because you have to. So there's that. You need to go find Dane Atos.
Dane Atos.
Which I will admit, in the first couple chapters, I had a huge crush on.
I hated him from the get-go.
I did not, because I liked his rigidity. I liked how controlling and comforting he was. It felt like someone who was super caring.
This makes a lot of sense for us. The other person Mira says to avoid and not go to is Xadem Ryerson.
So, he's the resident bad boy.
Sadly.
Dane is Violet's lifelong best friend. And also someone she's had a crush on forever and ever.
Sure.
Like, they'll go back and forth crushing on each other. And that's something to note for, like, the future chapters, like the coming chapters that are about to happen. But he's always been protective of her, and he's always been there for her through thick and thin.
He's 21. Yeah, he's
21.
a year older.
So he's a second year.
And he obviously has made it through, so he obviously has a dragon. We don't know much about that dragon yet. We'll talk more when we actually get to meet him. But his dad works for Violet's mom. And so they have been friends and have been forced proximity together since they were little. Like, they've done everything from swimming in rivers to attending balls together because their parents, they work together. So
they're always stationed together. So they literally had gotten to move around from station to station together through everything.
Yeah.
So I, like, putting myself... Well, no, I won't do that. I could do that. I should do that. I'm just kidding.
Do whatever you're comfortable with.
Thinking about, like, her point of view, he's been the one that's always been there, no matter what, through it all.
It's you and
everything
me.
that she's lost. Yeah, it is kind of us.
We have always been together. We might not have always been there at that given moment, but we're always there.
Yeah.
Except
so
for we're not
that's
in
her
love
person.
with each other.
Well.
I would never be a Dane to you, though.
I would be a Dane to you. I'm overprotective when it comes to my friends.
I guess I'm thinking of a specific thing.
Yes.
But you would protect me. And there's Xadem. Ryerson. Okay.
One of the most epic book boyfriends of forever.
He is the son of a guy who I don't know his name.
Fen Ryerson.
Fen Ryerson. He is the son of Fen Ryerson. And Fen Ryerson was the leader of the rebellion. So there was a rebellion against the king about the war.
So it's specifically like the province of Tyrrendor.
Yes.
They were trying to fight Navarre. And separate from it.
Yes. So there's the continent, there's Navarre, Tyrrendor is within Navarre, and then there is Peromiel and Navarre are at war. They've been at war for 400 years. Tyrrendor wanted to rebel against Navarre to help Peromiel, and Fen Ryerson was the leader of that. Well, that went really badly. A lot of parents who rebelled died.
Yeah. Well, they were all executed.
That's true. They were all executed. And the children of all the parents were shipped off to other families to be, like, adopted by them and told that they all have to go through the Riders' Quadrant. Mm-hmm. Like, they had no choice. That's what they're going to do. And they did that thinking, well, a lot of people die in the Riders' Quadrant. Maybe they'll just die and we won't have to deal with them. But Zaddy is a badass and he hasn't died. He is a third year. He is a wing leader. He is the best man ever.
He's truly exceeding expectations, regardless of where people come from. Like, he is strong, he is smart, and he's making his way through the Riders' Quadrant into power.
Yes, and he is... We'll talk about this when chapter 3, but he has that kind of, like, leadership skill that can very easily make him into power.
Every child of the rebellion has a rebellion relic marked on them. So they all have these silver shimmery marks that are somewhere on their body. Xadem happens to have one that goes from his wrist, I believe, all the way up to his chin.
Yes, all the way up. And
which is why she kind of noticed
exactly who he is. Like, it's not hard to hide that one. And there is also the point who created the marks. It was a dragon marking them.
Yeah, it was General Melgren's dragon. So the general of the whole continent, the one who controls the war, pretty much.
The one who executed all the parents, all the people that were rebelling. His dragon marked all of the children, and it's commonly referred to as the marked ones. So Mira says, go to Dane, he'll protect you, stay the fuck away from Xadem. And Violet's like, okay, I understood. I love Dane. I go to Dane. I will stay away from Xadem. I don't want to die. And then she starts to climb the stairs, the 250 stairs to the parapet.
Which is insane. I'd already be dead. On the thought of the dragons and them marking skin. So we said Melgren's dragon marked the skin of the separatist children. Yes. Okay, so they have like these swirls and slashes going all the way up and down their bodies as a mark that their parents did something bad, which is insane.
Wait, something to note. Usually they are located in the arm region, though. Mm-hmm. Most, I guess we have not met every single marked one, but most marked ones we know are in, like, the hand, wrist. Xaden's is the largest, the one crawling all the way to the neck, but a lot of the times it's in this kind of region. Yes. Of the child.
That it's not a pattern or design. It is literally, like, slashes showing that it came from something bad. Like, it's a punishment to have this type of mark. And then we also get a blurb where Violet mentions that dragons use their magic to mark the skin of a rider when they bond with that dragon. It's an honor, it shows power, and it's typically, she says it's generally or regularly the shape of a dragon who gifted them. But it doesn't say all the time. Which is interesting to note that there is someone out there in history, because she's a history buff, that has had a dragon mark them in something that isn't just the shape of the dragon themselves. And I wonder why that's important and why it was written that way.
I think I know.
I can also talk about Dane's name meaning. I can do that. Dane, his first name, I couldn't really, like, find any Gaelic name meaning. But from Norse mythology, and this is gonna suck if it's true, based on what we know, but his name literally means dead one or deceased.
Fine with me.
I get it.
Larissa me, she looked up text messages from our conversations we had when we were actively reading these books. And there's literally a text thread of me being like, I don't care if he saves, like, 1,000 babies or kittens or whatever I said, I will always hate him. I do not like this guy.
I was really upset when I found out everything we found out about him. Yeah. But knowing that I had watched interviews where Rebecca says she does not hate Dane.
She doesn't.
And we knew he was going to get a redemption arc. I was like, okay, something's going to happen and I'm going to be okay with it. So there's that. But his last name, Atos, super important, is from what I found. Okay. Nothing Gaelic from what she usually takes from. But what I did find was that there was a Greek eagle named Atos, and it was Zeus's eagle. Oh. And that symbolized powerful omens, and it was used as a standard on war standards, which, looking up what that meant, usually is like a flag that has a symbol on it, so it was a symbol. But if we're talking about the meaning behind it, and I could just be like picking at nothing, but it's fun to do this, so I just did it. If we're talking about standards, Dane and his father are both huge on following the rules.
Oh, they are.
Standards.
They're sticklers for that.
So that was interesting in my little research.
Huh. Fuckwad still would have been better.
Yeah. I can't wait until you see my research on someone who's coming, who she meets in line.
We can talk about it because she meets my favorite character. Well, one of my
Are we there? Did we get there?
Mira just gave us the advice. Stay away from Xadem. Sad. Mm-hmm. Go to Dane.
Yes.
Whatever. She goes and signs her name. And Mira's like, don't let me be an only child. Come on.
Bye. As everyone's watching her walk away because she's such a badass. We love her.
Yeah, and they're like fangirling over her.
Mind you, she did everything she did for Violet while she's in the middle of fighting war. She is such a badass.
Her mom even makes a comment saying, like, why are you even here? It's like,
yeah.
Because my sister is going to school, and I'm going to be a good sister and braid her hair.
Who does Violet meet in line?
She meets two characters. We meet Dylan, who is this young boy who's in love, ready to marry his lovely girlfriend, but he can't until after the quadrant.
Yep, so he's got to make it through and graduate and then marry her.
And we find Rhee.
Rhiannon and Matthias.
She is so iconic, badass, the best. She is just a generally nice human being. And
apparently she's gorgeous.
it's true. And she's, Violet even describes her to looking like a god.
Amari.
The queen of gods.
Yeah, literally the queen of gods, who represents strength, power, and hope.
So, you know she's a looker.
Mm-hmm. And she's strong.
I love Rhee so much.
But, yeah, she's probably one of the best characters and the most consistent out of every character in the book.
She is.
Which, now thinking about that, makes me so nervous. Because how does she grow?
By lessening the control. She also likes following the rules. She needs to learn to not.
Right, because she's such a stickler for the rules, she won't break them to protect any of her friends at all, ever.
Oh, never!
Oh my god.
You're putting bad mojo into the world.
Well,
okay.
Rebecca Garros does this to me, okay? Alright, but Dylan is a muscular blonde man, and his name means son of the sea, which is intriguing based on what happens.
I love that. What does Rhee's name mean?
Rhiannon's name means great queen, sovereignty, beauty, and strength, which all works for her.
Oh, she's so related to this god somehow.
Uh-huh. And her last name, Matthias, means gift of God. Or bear.
Both
but I
great.
think it's supposed to be gift or God.
Gift of God or gift or God?
Gift of God.
Dang, girl.
Gift of gods. Gift of goddess.
She has to be related to this goddess somehow.
She could be. Like a direct descendant. That would be pretty cool.
See, then she has things to work out. There you go.
Well, if we talk about... So we did find out that Rhee has a twin.
Oh, she does.
And her twin's name is Regan. And Regan means little king or royal. So Regan is also some sort of like royal name.
Her whole family is some kind of like descendants then. That makes sense.
Which would track because families are all descended from the same, you know. So if we're talking about them having some sort of royal standing and being related to the gods, that would work. But if we're just talking about how they are good leaders and how they take control, that could also work for the name meaning.
And Rhee is very good. She is a good born leader. So we start climbing the parapet. We make it to the top.
The stairs to the parapet.
Yes, thank you. We start climbing the stairs. Violet is like really hitting it off with Dylan and Rhee, and she notices that Rhee has smooth-soled boots, and she's like, "What size shoe are you?" Rhee's like, "An 8," and Violet's like, "I'm a 7. Swap me my left shoe." And Rhee's like, "Why?" And she's like, "For the attraction." And Rhee,
and so she does that. She does that after Rhee stands up for her because there was someone heckling her in line. So she's like, "Here, you're being nice to me. I'm going to help you out. Here's my left boot."
They're bonding. They're getting close. I love it. She helps him out. Before she leaves her sister, or right after she leaves her sister, she says, "I will not die today." And she uses this quote over and over and over again. And I respect it because it's like, I could die tomorrow, but I will not die today.
I will not die today. I will not die in this moment. I am a survivor.
And I love it.
Which is typically in italics, if you're keeping track of that in your head. Most of the times, I will not die today is in italics because she's thinking it to herself.
And not out loud.
We do learn that once we get to the top of the parapet itself takes 15% of the rider candidates before they even cross and be cadets. Yep. She gets to the top and she sees this man with black hair, a strong jaw, tawny skin, stubble. He's super ripped, and he has eyes that are gold-flecked onyx, which I have some words about.
Oh? Who's this man, Larissa?
Well, this man is, you say his name.
Xadem Ryerson.
Who we've talked about. But his eyes being gold-flecked onyx is super important. One, because once we learn later about dragons and about Violet's dragons, those two colors are insanely important. Gold and onyx, gold and black. That is super important. And I wonder if that has something to do with anything.
It has to. She talks about his eyes so much.
So much. But he also has a diagonal scar from his left eyebrow to the top corner of his cheek, which is just awesome in general.
I wonder where he got his scar from. I don't know if we ever find that out.
I think we do later in a different book.
I'll keep an eye out.
But I can't remember.
I don't know off the top of my head, no.
What's important about the conversation and interaction between Violet and Xadem once she gets to the top? Because obviously she was like, don't look at me, please don't see me. But he's right there right before she gets on the parapet. So obviously he's going to see her. And Rhee, of course, is like, Sorngale, let's go. Like, Violet, let's go. Come on. And he's like, Sorn who?
And he's like, excuse me? And then there's 3 riders up there. There's one, Xadem. There's one taking notes, and then there's another one hanging out. I don't know. And the one also says Ryerson, so they both find out who each other are almost
within seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. We find out right away, based on Violet's thoughts, that Violet's mom oversaw Xadem's dad's execution, and Xadem's dad killed Brennan,
Violet's brother.
So we already have this insane tension. We know that they are direct enemies based on what Violet knows. On page, I love how I wrote this. On page 20, it's important to note that she sees Violet's glaring, it says his glaring gaze strokes over me. 1, awesome. But 2, when we're thinking context of whole series, it might not be what she thinks it means. Like, 1, yes, could it mean he's really angry with her and he hates her? Sure, yeah, and he's just staring her down. But when you're saying someone's glaring at you and it strokes over you, like, you're taking your time with it. You're looking at every inch of somebody. That's important to remember.
They start crossing the parapet. Dylan goes first. Dylan starts crossing the parapet. Something I want to talk about, though, is as this morning has gone on, a storm has been coming in. Let me say that again.
The clouds have been coming.
But then the rain comes, Larissa, and the wind comes. A storm is coming.
As soon as Violet is about to step on that parapet, as soon as she's talking to Xadem, and I wrote it down. It starts to rain right after Violet asks if Xadem is going to kill her. As soon as she's right at the top, the rain starts.
I am convinced her mom is making a storm.
Oh, for sure.
Why, though? I want to know why. It is
because it sounds like sabotage.
Yeah, it's going to hurt her. Mm-hmm. So does her mom think it would just be better for her to just die quickly? But then at that point...
With what we know, I don't think that's what happened.
Then why does she do a storm? Like, why?
I have some thoughts that might go too far.
Just say them.
Okay, I'll try to keep it as general as possible. I can spin it. Okay, so with the way that she has interacted with Violet, she knows and believes that Violet is extremely capable. She knows her test scores as well. She knows she's fast. She knows that she's agile. She knows she's smart. She also knows that she is small. And having that size difference will actually help her on the parapet and give her a better chance than other candidates. Well, how do we keep more people away from Violet? How do we keep her even more safe? We give her a better chance by harming other people and giving her the best chance possible. by giving her a storm to survive through because I know she will, and harming others.
It's sabotage on other candidates and not on her.
Because she's capable, she's small. The wind is going to go around her because she's so much smaller, but it will take the bigger people who it like connects onto and pushes them off.
Maybe she is a good mom.
That was my take on it.
Oh, I like that so much more than her being like, fuck it, I'm gonna just kill her off now.
And if you're thinking through, so I don't want to get there yet, but I'll make more points as we get there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it was protective. I don't think it was harmful.
Well, we can say, spoilers, the storm does take one. Mm-hmm. Our good boy Dylan.
Man, I love Dylan. I cried. The first time I read this, I cried. I was like, they're going to be the best of friends. It's going to be Rhee, Dylan, and Vi, and they're going to be epic.
Dead. Bye, Dylan.
Dead.
Bye. Falls into the river like an ocean, like his namesake.
But if we want to go and give him some credit, Rebecca said she'll never keep a character who has no room to grow, and he was already the perfect man. He already wanted to marry his one girl. He was already very sweet, so he had to die right away.
And it gives you the expectation that no one is safe. This is a war college. Like you said earlier, 15% of people die just walking this. People are going to die. I don't care if it's a named character. I don't care if it's your favorite character. People are going to die. But then Rhee starts to cross. And then Violet's finally like, I gotta do this. And the thing that pushes her forward is Jack fucking Barlow.
Jack fucking Barlow. That man.
He's the one that was kind of antagonizing her the whole way. Being like, this small thing's not going to do anything, blah, blah, blah. Jack is like, I can push you, I can help you out. And Violet's like, okay, I gotta go or I'm going to die. So she starts crossing.
For theory's sake, I think it's important to note that Jack does not have any description yet. We don't even have a name. We just know there's this person antagonizing her. When, in contrast, every single person, including the people we never get names for, have some sort of description.
That's a good point.
I'm going to go through a few names before we move on. And then we can... Do you want to move on to chapter 2 after that?
Sounds good.
Okay, so Brennan's name means descendant of sorrow.
Rip, dude. Rip.
But it could also mean brave, but I'm going with that first one, and I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with a lot of things, including his dad. Because if you're a descendant of someone. His dad is supposedly died from heart failure after he was so sad his son died. He's literally called the descendant of sorrow.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Xaden's name has a ton of different meanings.
Daddy,
mostly
love, hot,
sexy. Take your shirt off. I mean, what?
Shadows, abs.
Okay, but Xaden means growth, progress, abundance, cleansing, and beam of light.
Interesting. Oh, that is not what I was expecting. Can you read them one more time?
Growth, progress, abundance, cleansing, beam of light.
I want to talk about things so bad.
There are so many things we could say about that, but we can hold off. We can do it. We can hold off. Ryerson is son of the rider. That's literally what it means.
I like that too for him. He's a classic, like, he is good on a dragon. So
I don't think his dad's name has much meaning for our story's purposes. Fen, like, the biggest meaning is marshland.
Maybe it's just like because he is the Duke of Tyrrendor until
it does mean grace, peace, and fair.
He was trying to make things fair.
That was his whole goal.
Yeah, he wanted to help protect Permeal.
Yeah. For Violet, obviously, it's important to note that her color is purple. Like, that's her thing. Purple and violet represent royalty and power, which is important to keep in mind for future stories.
Yeah, in the future, it very fits in like a puzzle piece. Okay.
Yep.
Do you want to read the epigraph for chapter 2?
I can do that. So if you're following along in your book, this is page 21. There's a misconception that it's kill or be killed in the Riders Quadrant. Riders, as a whole, aren't out to assassinate other cadets. Unless there's a shortage of dragons that year or a cadet is a liability to their wing. Then things may get interesting. And that's Major Offendra's Guide to the Riders Quadrant, Unauthorized Edition.
Unauthorized edition is interesting. Mm-hmm. I wonder...
How do we have that?
Yeah, I wonder if it's unauthorized in the time that Jacinia is writing it. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the old text, or this is something we don't believe in anymore. Or is it unauthorized in the current time period, and it's just something the continent or Navarre doesn't let the riders read?
Or, if we're thinking unauthorized and breaking it down as a word, which is probably not the case, not authored. It's not something that was actually published. Like, just another little bit. Even though unauthorized is something completely different, but if we're breaking down that word, it could mean that.
Could just mean, like...
Not published.
Not published. This is just, like, his thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good point. Okay. I like it.
So we get from this that riders typically assassinate other cadets for 2 reasons. The first being a shortage of dragons, and the second being the cadet is a liability to their wing. So that's important to remember. And knowing what we know about Violet already is that she is ill and she is hurting. So do you think if she makes it across the parapet, she is going to be a liability to her wing?
Yeah. I think...
And do you think she's going to bond a dragon? She's already somebody who needs to be concerned about those 2 things.
Yes. And it's clear, and I think everyone, and I mean, Jack says it the second he sees her, is everyone can see that she is different from everyone. Even though she fights to make that not a factor. Like, she makes... She's lived her whole life, and she hasn't died yet, so, like... It's still something that everyone sees the first time they see her. It's uphill battle for her.
The first sentence we have in chapter 2 says, "I will not die today." Going back to your favorite quote. And it's not the second time she said it. I believe it's the 3rd time that she's already said it. This time is interesting because this is the only one that's not italicized.
Oh, I did not catch that.
So I'm not sure if that has any specific meaning or if it's just because there's the fancy I, but you could have italicized the rest. Meaning, I'm not sure if it goes from thought to fact, or if there's something else behind that, or if there's nothing at all.
Is it in quotes?
Nope.
Okay. Interesting. Yes, my favorite line. I will not die today.
I will not die today.
Maybe tomorrow, but not today. Okay. So, she crosses the parapet. And the storm is storming. It is windy. It is rainy. She is crossing this 18-inch wide thing.
If you think that's like a 1.5 feet.
It's nothing.
Wide.
It is nothing.
My body is wider than that.
Same. So she's starting to cross it. Oh, do you want to talk about her coping mechanism? I think this is so cute.
It is so cute and something I appreciate. She just goes through and states a ton of facts, which I was thinking that's genius on Rebecca's part, because how else do you give so much facts and context without having this character just stating verbatim facts about the history, about numbers, about everything we need to know to set up this world building. So smart.
It's so smart, and it's done so nice. It's not like there's other times when it's done in like classrooms, which kind of makes sense, but this is just like, okay, I need to turn on my logic brain and just focus. Let me just spew all the facts I know, because I was supposed to be a scribe. I love it. So that's where we learn about the continent. We learn about the war. We learn about how the continent is kind of broken up. We talked about Navarre and Pyrmir. And then how Navarre has 6 provinces. And Pyrmir has 2 or 3. I don't remember.
3.
3.
There's Krovla, Breivik, and Signisen in Pyrmir. We also find out right while Violet is about to step onto the parapet, or while she's walking, she prays to Zenal, which is the god of luck in this world.
So this is our 3rd god mentioned so far.
So we know Dylan is dead right now. Rhee is walking. She's killing it because of the boot. We love that.
And she's a badass.
And Violet's on the parapet. She's stating her quotes. We're getting all this world building information. And then we hear a crack of thunder. And it says that it comforts her.
Yes, it does. It like reminds her of the shadows and light going against the book she's reading when...
I have thoughts.
Okay.
It says storms illuminate and throw shadows across her books. Illuminate definitely represents Violet, and we'll talk about why later. Throw shadows definitely represents Xadem.
Yes.
So we have the thunder cracking, which is her mom literally comforting her through noise. We have a mention already, a foreshadowing of what's going to happen with the relationship between Violet and Xadem. Just in one quick quote of her being like, I love the storm.
I am loving the idea of more of it was her mom trying to take out other people and protect her so much more, because like throwing a thunder, knowing that like your daughter loved those is just, it's just like a, hey, I'm here.
And we do have instances where Violet's like, this reminds me of my mom. We have thoughts that she says throughout this. So this is her mom saying, I'm here, I'm with you, even though she couldn't say that.
I fully went into this episode being like, her mom's a bitch. She is trying to kill Violet and she doesn't care. And I'm walking out being like, her mom always cared, but she just couldn't show it because it was weak.
Mm-hmm. Dang. So, we do learn as one of Violet's little tidbits of information that scribes read and record data for historical analysis. So that goes into me thinking they don't write. They literally just record.
Recap. Yeah.
Recap. Yep.
And then Jack starts to cross.
Jack fucking Barlow.
Fucking Barlow. Violet turns around to see where he is because he was trying to be like threatening. And he is just standing on the parapet like nothing's happening.
We still don't have a description for him, by the way.
Okay.
We are this far in. He's been threatening her. He's doing all this insane stuff. He literally tried to kill her. We just get his name right now. After that whole last chapter, he was threatening her. We just got his name.
Because he gives the name to the person recording names at the beginning.
Yep.
Of the parapet.
Which, do you want to hear my thoughts? This is my favorite interpretation that I've tried and figured out.
What does his name mean?
Okay, so I love this. I literally wrote Jack Barlow is the dick in line who finds Violet weak and tries to shove her off. That's literally what I wrote.
I literally wrote Jack fucking Barlow.
Jack, in theory, means holder of heel, healthy, and strong. My thought is that it literally is just a jackass. That was her thought. Who is the most asshole type of name we could get? Jackass. Jack.
Jackass.
Barlow means a bare hillside or inexpensive jackknife. But in my head, I'm thinking Bar is so low because of the low expectations he sets. He is the worst type of person. So we have jackass and the bar is so low. I think his name is funny.
I love it. And also, it's a J, and who hasn't been hurt by a fucking J name?
Facts. I literally start at this point, why don't we get a description of him right away like anyone else?
That is...
where is his description?
I did not notice that at all, and it has to be, it has to be important, because Jack is like this looming shadow throughout this whole book.
He's an important character.
So
and
why
even if he wasn't, we got a description of a redheaded girl who's taking names. We got this description of the goateed guy who's standing next to her.
We don't even have names for them.
We don't have names for those people. And I looked it up. They are not, the redhead is not a different character that comes later in the book. So we literally just have 2 unnamed people with descriptions. And then we have Jack, who was unnamed, no description, pestering her.
I'm gonna okay. Look forward for 2 and 3. Is he ever described in 2 and 3?
Barely, but yes, I do have something.
Okay. So Jack is standing there, like the storm's not even touching him, and then turns around and goes after the kid that was behind him in line and kills him.
Yep, he's just like, I'm gonna stand here. I'll wait until this person catches up, and then I'll pick him up, but like it's nothing, and throw him off. So that goes to show that he is extremely strong. Mm-hmm. Like, strong enough to look at someone else who is big enough to be a rider, because Violet's the only one there who's mentioned to be tiny. So this is another person who is huge and sturdy, and Jack just picks him up and throws him off like it's nothing.
During a storm.
On an 18-inch platform. That's 200 feet off the ground.
And then he says, "You're next, Sorrengail," and starts attacking Violet. Or, not attacking, going after.
We're skipping a few things.
Oh.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on.
Lizzie!
Page 23. Important quote from Dad himself, Daddy Sorrengail.
Daddy Sorrengail?
Okay. This is something he used to say to Violet all the time while they were in the archives working together. The archives are where the scribes keep all of their information.
That is very important. Good point.
He says, "Your mind already knows the answer, so just calm down and let it remember."
Yes.
That is so important. 1, that is what she's using as a coping mechanism now.
Yeah.
2, he's given her all the answers already. She knows all of the information. She just has to relax and think about it.
And it's so true, because when things start clicking in place, she remembers, like, that the fable, the dark fables, that her dad read to her all the time. She knows it. She remembers all the times her dad talks about what he is doing in the scribe quadrants, what scribes are meant to do, how they're important. And she knows it. She just doesn't know its relevance yet. Mm-hmm. And it's so important.
So that's a quote that she said he used to say all the time. So he's literally, I don't want to say it in a negative way, but he is prompting her to have that quote ingrained in her memory and to be something that she can use no matter what throughout all the time, because he knows she's going to have to use that.
He knows shit's happening, and he knew he was dying, and he knew someone else was going to have to continue on, or he could just know she was going to be important regardless, so she needs to know this.
Mm-hmm. And where I think it's interesting to already note is that her dad is more than just a scribe. He's like a scribe plus plus. If we're talking about scribes being people who just recount information, her dad is someone who is a theorist. Her dad is someone who researches. Her dad is someone who puts his own thoughts into things. So that's important to remember.
Yep. He's not just recapping what other people say. He's actively doing the research and actively trying to figure out things. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We also forgot to mention, while she's going through and naming all of these facts, we talked about the 2 kingdoms, but then there's also the barons, which is just barely mentioned, but it seems to be separate from other kingdoms, and it's a desert, and that's all we really know about it right now.
And it seems like it is Navarre, Paromial, and then next to it is the barons. Mm-hmm. So Navarre is a little bit far away from them. The people that they're at war with, who are outside of the wards only follow Navarre, and then the Badlands, or the Barons.
We also find this trade agreement that these 2 kingdoms have entered into, which is important.
It is.
So for context, Paromial has great farmland, and they farm a ton of grain. They also have marshlands. They have textiles, and they have crystalline gems that amplify minor magic. Keep that in mind for the future. When we talk about the trade agreement of Resin, which was signed 200 years ago at this point. Yes, you have thoughts? I'm so glad you're catching on to that. I'm so glad I don't have to say it. I cannot wait.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Okay, go on.
The trade agreement of Resin was signed 200 years ago by the kingdoms between Navarre and Paromial, and they trade meat and lumber in Navarre for the prominent cloth and agriculture of Paromial 4 times a year at the Athbean outpost, which is between Krovla, the province of Paromial, and Tirandor, the province of Navarre.
Dude. Yeah, because if Tirandor is like here, they're probably like right there.
And Athbean is super important because of that trade agreement specifically. Okay, now we get to our our little thing that we get about Jack Barlow. Our little information we have about what he looks like.
Okay,
the only thing we have. Jack is stocky. So he's like
thick.
He's very strong.
Which is
This
clear.
is where it's very important. He has glacial blue eyes and blonde hair.
That doesn't convince me, though.
Doesn't convince me, but at least at this point, we know he hasn't done something.
Or hasn't gone far enough.
Right.
Do you want to skip to Violet and Jack are running? She makes it off. Jack's still on it. She turns around and puts a dagger to his dick.
Which is great. I have so many thoughts right now. I need to collect myself.
You're good.
Something I forgot. On page 26, while she is walking or running, she is sprinting across the parapet. Violet is already envisioning closing and controlling her emotions behind bars in her mind.
She's already grounding before...
She's already grounding.
It makes sense why she's so quick on the pickup on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably something her dad literally just calm down and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's already teaching her. That's crazy.
Okay, so she gets off the parapet. Jack is still going to try and kill her. So she puts the knife up to him. But there are people watching. Who are the people?
The people writing the names on the other side.
Right at the end, she's given a choice. Basically, she either kills him or lets him live. And what does Violet do?
She lets him live. Like a dumbass. Would have saved so many issues if she killed him.
Yep.
But she does state that she couldn't kill him from the angle she was in. And so she's like, you're gonna follow the rules. I'll let you down. Like, just fuck off, dude.
And then as he's leaving, he says, "You're dead, Sorengale, and I'm going to be the one to kill you."
Yes.
What does that mean?
He just wants to be the one to do it because she pissed him off so much.
Or
Also,
if we're taking it from what we think might be happening, that implies there are other people trying to come get her. And he wants to be the one to do it. It could be.
Could be. He also sniffs her, scents her, like a dog.
Yep, he's nasty. Nasty man.
The worst human. I will say, I will take Dane 1,000 times over Jack.
Yep, that's for sure.
Chapter 3 starts with the epigraph.
I love this, that it's starting out with some dragon lore. This is probably one of my favorite aspects of the Empyrean itself, the series, is all the dragon lore.
Mm-hmm. There's so much.
Okay. Blue dragons descend from the extraordinary Gormphalius line, known for their formidable size that are the most ruthless, especially in the case of the rare blue daggertail, whose knife-like spikes at the tip of their tail can disembowel an enemy with one flick. Colonel Kaori's Field Guide to Dragonkind.
The lineage is something I'm gonna have to, like, keep an eye on and keep a track of, because I feel like it has to be important, but there's just so much that it comes like background noise.
And we also know that anything the humans know about dragons is what the dragons want them to know.
That is true.
So
that is very true.
We have not great source upon not great source that we're getting right now. I also looked up what Gormphalius means, which its literal translation is blue shadow.
Oh, no way! Love it.
It's the perfect name.
Okay, so the chapter starts. Violet finds Rhee. They're very excited. They have finished and crossed the parapet. They survived! And Rhee's like, we need to trade shoes. And Violet's having a lot of, like, anxiety, or maybe not anxiety, adrenaline, and, like, she's feeling sick. And then she runs straight into Dane Atos.
And he grabs her.
Touches her! He grabs her arms to hold her still. And that is important, because Dane, who is a second-year rider, has a dragon. She has a dragon, so he has a signet. And Dane's signet is the ability to read recent thoughts with, quote, this is what I looked up, touch. Usually from the touch of the face, but in the actual quote, it's the ability to read recent thoughts via touch.
Which, when you're going through this book, you find out all of this, but
yes.
You find it out and assume that it's only a touch of the face. Yes. So when we include touches from any other part of the body, by like the first 2 pages, he's touched her a gajillion times.
So much.
That they've seen each other.
And it's, so, he touches her, and he looks pissed, and it could either be he's pissed because he sees her in the quadrant, or because he is reading a recent thought. And the only things I can truly think of is the most recent Jack threatening her life, and so he's pissed and upset because someone's threatening his best friend, or it's the shoes for Violet and Rhee, and he's just like, why the fuck did you do that? What are your thoughts? Do you think it could be anything else, or do you think it is him reading at all?
I'm not sure if this first one is him reading or not. I'm thinking right now he's very smart, so he's already trying to figure out how the heck to get her out of here after he's done being in shock. The only other thing I could think about, like, with him specifically that he would be mad about is the fact that she's wearing rider's black, which she has not earned, and that would make him angry because of rules and
that's a fair
following
point.
what's important.
That's a fair point. Well, Rhee and Violet switch shoes, and then Dane takes her to his room, scandalous, to basically rewrap her knees because Violet fell during the parapet, and Dane's trying to protect her. And
he's also trying to block her from letting other people see that she's sick.
Yeah. And also getting her away so not as many people see her, so he could get her out of this quadrant. Because Dane wants her in the scribe, like, wants her to live.
And we already see him trying to get past technicalities in the rule book here for her. Yeah. So he is a stickler for the rules. We've said this a million times. He's saying because she was forced into it, she was not someone who volunteered. She was voluntold. So it doesn't count, and she can go to the scribe quadrant now, and he's going to find a way to get her there. He is trying to make sure he's still following rules, even though technically he could be breaking them.
Yeah. Because she is a cadet in all terms. She crossed the parapet. She is a cadet.
I did like the little section where we saw Rhee and Dane interact, because it shows how different they are as friends to Violet. Where Dane, he was willing to tell people why Violet is sick and like explain things away and talk about it. Rhee said, "It is no one's business. I don't care what I have to do. I will lie my ass off for this girl." Already.
Her shoe.
So we're seeing different types of friendship, different forms of protection for Violet, and it's really interesting. We also get in that conversation that Dane tells Rhee to go make sure that the redheaded girl gets Violet and Rhee in 2nd Squad Flame Section 2nd Wing, because that's where Dane is the squad leader.
Yes. So he can, worst comes to worst. I mean, I truly think that this is just a ploy to get Rhee away. But it also is, worst comes to worst, she's at least under my section. I can protect her more. Love that Dane has the authority. I understand he is a squad leader, but I just love that he has the authority to be like, yeah, these 2 people are going into my squad. Like, that just seems so weird to me.
Well, he said that she owes him because he saved her during threshing last year.
That's true. It's more of like a favor to replay than he has any power. And so then they head up to Dane's room. Violet recognizes that Dane has powers now because
They're channeling.
They're channeling, so he has like lesser magic, so he can turn on lights, open doors. They talk about this really cool pen that they don't have to actually write. It just writes for them. So Violet's like, oh, holy shit, this isn't the Dane I grew up with. He is stronger, more powerful now. And then they kind of go into the room, and he is so adamant and like strong on, you need to get out of here. You need to go back to the scribes. And I do think it's from a caring perspective of like, you're not going to survive here. You need to go somewhere you can survive because you're my best friend. And how Violet's like, dude, there's no shot. Like, I have to be here. My mom will drag me back if I don't. I'm here. And you have to get over that. And that's really the main parts. And then the more touching in memories.
Blah.
Yeah. So is there anything that you really want to talk about in the section?
We do find out in this section that there are different levels of leaders. So we know Dane is a squad leader. That's like the lowest level of leaders for the students, the cadets, I guess, the riders that are learning, are going through training. And then we have the section leaders, and then we have the wing leaders. So we need to keep those in mind when we're going forward. We also find out about threshing, which is when a dragon chooses who they'll bond, which will come up later, but we find out about that now. And cadets who bond then officially become riders.
Yes. Yeah. Until then, they're still just first year cadets.
There are passages from what we read that lead from the riders quadrant to the healers quadrant to the scribe quadrant. So I think that's interesting. I don't think that's something I noticed before, but everything is connected through something, a tunnel, a door, anything of some sort. It's all connected. But based on how he's talking, you can easily move through those, even if it is by sneaking and saying that someone's hurt or something. There are ways to easily get from quadrant to quadrant.
Then she heads back down. She meets back up with Rhee. Rhee has found a friend, Tara. Yes, who Rhee's a little crushy on. Love Rhee. I love her so much. And then they just kind of chat until everything gets started.
Yeah, Commandant Pancheck.
He doesn't have a huge role in this, but he's the leader. He starts to make people go into their wings and sections. There are 4 wings, and each wing has 3 sections, and each section has 3 squads. Usually the wings are numbered, so first wing, second wing, third wing, fourth wing. Then there is tail, claw, and flame section. And then there's first squad, second squad, third squad.
36 squads altogether. Each squad has about like 15 or 16 people in them.
Yes. So, a good chunk of people. Mm-hmm. And then we find out, Handcheck says that 67 people died crossing the parapet.
And 301 survived.
Good job. And so Violet does some quick math because she's a genius. And she recognizes that it's roughly around 20%, which, if you remember, it's higher than the average of 15%. So
I did the math. Successful. I did the math on my own. It's 18%. So it Violet. Is not... For quick math, that's incredible. Yeah. But for me, that's not so much that it would be a huge concern to my brain. Especially when you know lots of people die and that there was a weather situation.
That's a good point because like we're talking between 5 and 3% at this point, but still a 3% is not considered an outlier in my brain.
Especially when you're thinking she's taking information from the scribes, which are all of the years that this has been happening. So tons and tons and tons of years. So this is a generalization of every single time they have done this and gone through the parapet. 18% doesn't seem that crazy. It's just another one that they would add to it, and it would still be roughly 15%.
I'm glad you did that math because... it's not really an outlier then. But it's still more than average, but... okay. So, we know that 67 died, including Dylan. And the unknown guy that Jack just murders for no reason. Mm-hmm. And then Pancheck leaves, and they get started to be sorted into squads and sections.
So once they start getting separated into their sections, it's now the what is her name? Mira. Mm-hmm. She is the senior wing leader of the quadrant, meaning she's the wing leader on top, who's in charge of all of the other people. So she's a very important student who is that what we're calling them? She's an important writer, but she's not an adult. She's like someone still there learning.
She's like senior. She would be the head boy or head girl in Harry Potter.
So she is telling everyone where they're going. She's the one making these comments.
Yes.
So Jack is the first one we see get put into a section, and he is in flame section of first wing.
Yep.
And then Tara's in tail section of first wing. So those two are both in first wing. And then Rhee and Violet get put into second squad, flame section, second wing, which if we remember, that's Dane's squad. So it happened exactly the way he wanted it to. And then, do we know if it's random? Something we've missed is that we learn Melgren's
signet power.
His signet power.
That is true. Melgren is the general of all generals of the war, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He has the ability through his dragon to see a battle's outcome before it happens. So he is in the perfect position for his power that he has.
Yes. And it's going to be hard to get him out of that position because he can see it coming.
Yes. When Rhee and Violet get put into their squad, they learn that there are 4 second or third years just based on what Violet sees, and there are 9 first years. And there's 1 second year rider in the squad that has a half-shaved, half-pink hair with a rebellion relic. And she kind of averts her eyes, trying not to stare. But we already meet someone in her squad that was a part of the rebellion, or their parent was a part of the rebellion.
She's a marked one. And then they finish sorting. Mm-hmm. I don't know if sorting is the right word, but that's what I'm using. And then Zaddy comes along.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives her a little look. Gives Violet a little smug look. And then he says one word, and then they have a little conversation. So he goes to second wing's leader. So Xadem is fourth wing's leader. Then he goes to second wing's leader and has a conversation. Then all the wing leaders come together. They have a conversation. And then what happens, Larissa?
So he comes back up and he says, Dane's squad is going to switch with Aura Benhaven's squad, now making Aura Benhaven's squad second wing. Mm-hmm. And Dane's squad, fourth wing.
And roll the credits. Fourth wing has been spoken. We're good. The book's done. So now Violet is directly under Xadem's leadership. He can punish her in any way and not be questioned. Mm-hmm. And Violet is scared.
I'd be too.
I would be terrified.
I'd be terrified. Anyway.
A little bit aroused, but...
Xadem has some advice for everyone, but he's staring directly at Violet while he says this, and I want to make that note. But his first advice to everyone is, you want a dragon, earn one. I love that. I love that, and I love what that means if he's speaking directly to her, because it says he looks at her and says it.
Yeah.
Because that goes to show the difference between how Dane is treating her and how Xadem is already treating her.
Without even having a relationship with her at this point. Mm-hmm. I do want to say, green flag for Xadem. He's a great public speaker.
He is so good. I was like, oh my god.
Such a green flag.
I would be thirsting if he was talking.
My mouth would just be like, and you would just have to be like, and I would just be like, this man is perfect. And you'd be like, you know nothing about him.
Hey, after Xadem is talking, or while Xadem is talking, we see our first sighting of... Dragons!
And I love it. And this chapter would have been the first one of, like, you know the, like, trend that's, like, first line of something, and it's like, and then the dragons arrive. This is the best chapter for that. It's like,
oh my gosh. I still get chills thinking about my first time reading this. It is so epic.
So I think is it 8 or 10 dragons arrive? Roughly around there.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I didn't write the exact number.
You have some reds, different shades. It's very clearly there are shades of each color, but there's core colors you have that are arriving. Some reds, a few greens, a brown, and one very large, very in charge, navy blue dragon.
There's also an orange dragon.
There's also an orange dragon, but you know...
We don't talk about those. So keep in mind the colors. Think about learning those colors and what they kind of represent. It's important to note who has those colors once we get there. So keep that in mind. Keep your own notes.
I am creating an Excel file that has all of the riders, their dragon names, their dragon colors, and the signets. And when we get to when signets are starting to pop up a little bit more, I have some thoughts and some theories. 2
more colors at this point, which because of Tyne and Violet's mom. Tyne is green, and Violet's mom's dragon is brown. So those are all the colors we know about at this point.
So we got red, orange, green, brown, blue. Mm-hmm. That's what we got so far. Okay. And if we think back to our epigraph, talking about blue dragons, we find out Xadem's dragon is this large and in charge queen navy blue dragon. Mm-hmm. And so he's continued to talk. These dragons are there. People are like, they're like, holy shit. Dragons
They're freaking out.
They're freaking out.
The first years are freaking out. They're like screaming. They're crying. I'm pretty sure they're throwing up. I don't know. But everything is happening right now. They are panicking because it's their first time ever seeing dragons up close.
Because normally you can't really interact with dragons because they will just burn you alive.
Yep. If you're not worthy, they will. That's for sure. We do find out here as well, dragons need humans to develop signet abilities. So they don't have signets themselves without humans. And they also weave the protective wards with that relationship to the humans, that power around Navarre. So that's important. Like, this is a sort of transactional relationship between dragons and humans.
And it kind of, if you go back to chapter 1 with the epigraph of a dragon without a rider is a tragedy. Because then dragons can't have these wards powered which protect their breeding lands.
Which is called the Veil.
It's called the Veil. And then, but a rider without a dragon is dead. Which we'll play into further, but it is, dragons are there to help people get signets and for those people to then create wards to protect the dragons.
It's also at this point where we understand why there are wards, because it's not just Navarre protecting from another group of people, it's Navarre protecting from griffins. And griffins are another type of magical creature in this universe that we would probably say aren't as strong as dragons, but they are still very capable, they're cunning, and they are merciless.
Yes. And they don't give their... dragons have riders, griffins have flyers. Mm-hmm. They don't give their flyers signets, but they do have abilities like riders do. Mm-hmm. So they are not someone to just, like, look against. Like, they're not weaker in that way. Xadem finishes his speech. Or, is he still talking?
He's in the middle of talking, actually. This all happens in a perfect pause.
There are a few riders. Well, there's one that starts it all. Who's like, screw this fucking shit, and runs. Mm-hmm. Dragons, they don't really like that. They see him as a coward and set him on fire. Mm-hmm. Fire rider.
So we have one rider dead. One cadet dead.
Yeah.
And then a couple more start freaking out, and they also, on the left and right of Violet, get incinerated.
So 3 cadets dead within the first 10 minutes of them being cadets.
While this is happening, in the middle of all the chaos, Violet is saying to herself, I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to show that this is insane and that I am terrified. I'm going to put my walls back up. I'm going to calm my anxiety, which her dad has been teaching her. And she makes eye contact with the blue dragon.
And it looks back at her. Mm-hmm. Straight on.
And typically, we know that blue dragons are very intense and they will kill anyone if they want to. And I think at first, the first glance is like, who is this person? Why is she looking at me? But then the blue dragon doesn't kill her. She doesn't. So that means she doesn't notice that Violet's anxiety is high, or there are other reasons behind it that we'll find out later. So then after they look at each other, the dragon looks away. So Violet survives that whole situation.
I also think that, like, I think there are other factors, especially knowing that the blue dragon is Xaden's dragon, and we know from what we know from future books. But I also think it's all 3 people that were just killed ran. And Violet is standing her ground. Mm-hmm.
And it's at this point where we're like, well, that was insane. But the dragons are definitely there for a reason. I, at first, didn't know if it was because they were there just to see who could be bonded, or if they were there for the speech, for what Xaden was talking about. And then once we get to the end of that whole situation, I realized it was on purpose, and it was for his example.
Yeah.
Because he wraps back up with his whole talk by saying, you really think you're big and tough now?
Because they'll see right through it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One thing I do also want to say, when Xaden's, like, starting his speech, he's like, oh yeah, you've made it. You're in the parapet. All this stuff, and people are like cheering and stuff. And Violet doesn't, because she recognizes that there was souls left. And it makes you realize, not that other riders are heartless, but it just shows another difference of, she doesn't just see it as, yeah, I won. I survived, but other people didn't. And it's just something I like about her.
Me too. We find out at the end of this speech that half of the people will be dead by this time next summer, a third again the year after that, and then a third more again the year after that. So each year, people die more and more and more. Yeah, she says 25% will live to graduation, which is about 75 of the people who made it. So it's very slim chances.
So many people die. So that's the 3 chapters, basically. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go into our next section?
We do hear that the king's name is King's Tory, and his second son died during threshing, which just goes to show that dragons do not care who you are or anything about the way Navarre works. They work in their own system, and they do what...
Yeah. You have to keep that in mind during the whole thing, because dragons only let you know what they want you to know,
but they always know. Dragons always know.
Yes, something we learned when we were talking to Dane is that when you're bonded with a dragon, they're literally in your head. You have a two-way connection of thought. It can be closed, but it's always there.
This section is called the Bonded Breakdown.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more just like our thoughts on the characters and kind of how we think everything would go if we were put into this world. I loved that you researched everyone's names. Is there anyone names you've researched that we didn't get to talk about? I know we did like all our main characters.
Yeah, I tried to stick with the main characters, just because there are so many. I did look up what Basgiath means, so okay, I can tell you that. Basgiath means Deathwing or Death Shield.
It is the Death School.
Which is a great name because it's very fitting.
I love it. Do you think you can make it across the parapet?
No. I don't even have to think about that. But I wouldn't put myself in that situation in the first place.
Fair enough. Okay. If you were going to Basgiath, what quadrant would you pick?
I would... None.
Okay.
I would
We're
pick
talking
the
as
scribe...
if you have to.
I would pick the scribe quadrant.
Okay.
I think being in the archives would be very peaceful. Without everything else we know.
I think my first instinct is healer. Because I don't think I can make it through the Rider's Quadrant. But it would be like, logically, yeah, healer, because I'm not going to be able to do half the shit. But I think if I could do half the shit and that was not the factor, I would do Rider, because it's just...
I was about to say, if I picked one for you, I would say you're a writer.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Okay, so we have to go to the Rider's Quadrant. How would you get yourself across? Like, would you just be like, no thoughts, bravery, straightforward? Would you be logic like Violet? Or would you just be like, I hope to the god of luck that I get across?
I would sit down, saddle my legs across the edges of it because I have longer legs, and I would slide all the way across. If it's raining like that, I'm not giving myself any chance. I'm spreading myself out. The wind comes, I'll fall backwards, but I'll still be laying down, and I won't fall. So it doesn't have to do with balance, and I would just slide across.
That is very smart. I don't have good balance. I can't walk in a straight line. So
me either.
Butt scooting over. I love it.
So that would get me through the parapet. That would get me nowhere else.
True. Hopefully we're in the same wing and section so we can carry each other.
Dude, if we got there and we weren't put in the same squad.
How rude. Just rudeness. Do you think, okay, you crossed.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sorted into your squads. We can be cool. We'll be in the fourth ring too. We'll be in tail section though.
Okay.
You're hearing the speech. You see the dragons. Do you run?
No, because I would be so in shock and so terrified I'd be frozen in place.
I have learned something about myself where, you know, you have your fight, flight, and freeze.
Mm-hmm.
I am a freezer. Anytime I get scared or anything, I will, like, do this like I'm gonna punch someone, but I'm, like, frozen. Like, nothing's happening.
Although I think I would get myself in trouble because my first instinct is always to go help whoever needs it. So it's possible that I would be running after the person trying to get them to stop to help them.
Oh, and so you're just...
And I would end up incinerated as well.
But not because of fear. It's just because you have that instinct to help.
Out of all the people we've met, who would you be crushing on?
Oh, that's fucking easy. Xadem? Tall, tattoos, mysterious. It would be Xadem. There is no doubt about it.
I would be crushing on 3 people at this point.
Okay.
I would be crushing on Rhee, I would be crushing on Dane, and I would be crushing on Xadem. If I saw all 3 of those people, I'd be like, you all are gorgeous. I'll talk to you later.
Rhee is just like my best friend. Like, I would crush on her just like I crush on you. It's more of just like love because you're my sister and not because I'm in love with you. Like,
yeah. Well, I wouldn't be in love with any of them yet. This is the first day.
But Xadem, if he told me to jump, I would say from what height?
Right away. Like, without knowing anything else, just seeing him, you'd be like, yep.
Seeing him and how he carries himself. It is that people move, the crowd moves for him. The people, when he talks, people listen because he has that charismatic leadership quality. How he holds himself, how he knows he's strong and powerful, and his words are strong and powerful, but he actually can also back it up. All of that is so attractive. And I think, yes, physically he's attractive, but like the charismatic leader of him would get me instantly too. And knowing he's a bad boy, knowing he's kind of on the wrong side is not helping the situation either. Oh.
Is there anything you would change about him?
I would make him real.
Okay. Yeah. I'm down.
Anything I would change about him?
At this point.
At this point, no. Because, like, there's... Like, the only red flag he has is that his family sucks. And his family is tied to this. I think in the future there's things I would change, but we can talk about that later on.
I'm trying to think with... I think Rhea is perfect. I think Xadem is perfect and mysterious and wonderful. And with Dane, I don't think for me there would be anything that I would change at this point in the story.
I would tell him to shut the fuck up.
From my outside perspective, because I'm not Violet. If I'm just seeing him and I'm seeing him be protective of someone who might need help, that would be very attractive to me.
That's fair. That's fair. I hate him because of what I know about him. Uh-huh. And if I was a first year and I was just seeing him, I don't think... Like, I would be like, yeah, he's hot, but I don't think the vibe I would get off of him if I had one conversation with him, I would... I don't know. He just... I don't know. I'll let you have him. I'm not going to fight him over you. You can have all of him.
If I'm going to be so for real, I wouldn't have spoken to any of them. I wouldn't have spoken to anybody if it was me.
Found my Rhee, or I would have found you, and nothing else would have happened. No, I think at first I wouldn't talk to anyone. I think once I'm separated into my squad, then I would try to, like, make a joke, try to see, like, feel it out with someone, maybe find, like, my Rhee at that point. But at first I wouldn't, because I would just feel like there's too many people. I don't know what to do.
I wouldn't speak to anybody. I would talk to you if you're there. But I wouldn't, like, the only reason I talk to anyone is because they talk to me first. That would be the only reason that I would speak. Which is why I would never bond a dragon, because they would be like, you're insane, you're weak, incinerated. You scooted across the parapet? Yeah, okay. If you had the choice, you're living in Navarre, if you had the choice to not go to the War College, would you stay home?
Yeah.
Me too.
I don't want to be a part of a war. There's some wars that, like, you're protecting yourself. But I don't want to be a part of the war. I don't want it. I wish I can help my community that I'm living in if they need it, but I don't want to be a part of. I don't want to be a leader in that sense.
That I forgot to mention was that Rhiannon's sister stayed home and she was married with kids. Not sure if it's optional.
Well, at least we know the riders. You cannot be told to go to the riders. We find out that the Mark ones all have to go to the riders and they have no choice. But the one thing that's different about the riders is it should always all be volunteered.
But I'm talking about in general, going to Basgiath. Is that a choice?
It has to be. If you think there's, like...
Reagan's reason for not going would be because she's actually pregnant. But does everybody have a choice?
That's a good thought. But you think, okay, 300 people, do simple math, survived. We'll say...
We don't know how many went to other quadrants, though.
No. That's fair. And there are probably more. Especially infantry.
Yeah, she said the majority go to infantry.
Oh, but the test. So the test that you have to take, there's a written test and, like, a physical test you have to take.
And you have to pass it.
And I believe she said something about if you didn't pass it, then you would just go to the front lines.
So no one has a choice.
Maybe. That's something I would have to look into and then get the actual quote, you know?
Because I'm thinking about all of, like, are there basic jobs that people are doing?
I mean,
is there a baker?
There has to be. Maybe it's like, Rebecca, are there bakers?
She's gonna be like, what? There has to be people who are doing the jobs that need to be done for the trade purposes. Like, there has to be people who are hunting. There has to be people who are
baking.
Yeah.
I know there's not a lot of farm grounds in Navarre, but there has to be some.
Yeah.
Also, it might also be a factor of, like, okay, if you are part of the infantry healers or scribes, then also, like, part of that can be you're put into towns, or maybe you only have, like, a 6-year contract. You know, I don't know, but, like, that's something. Rebecca, answers, please, thanks.
Please and thanks.
I think we both agree we wouldn't make it, but in the story of our lives where we do, I hope you survive tomorrow. Well, if you're still here, thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
Appreciate it so much. I hope you enjoyed your snack, and I hope you enjoyed your beverage.
We also would love if you sent us in your answers to the questions that we kind of answered at the end. So would you survive? What quadrant would you be in? What would you do? What is your method to get across the parapet? All that good stuff. Who would you be crushing on? Those are my favorite questions. So let us know. And also, if you are reading along with us, let us know that too. We would love to see who's reading with us.
And if you have thought about something that we didn't bring up, please let us know. We'll theorize. We can bring it up next episode. Like, definitely. I mean, even just now, you brought up points that I didn't even think about. And so, more minds are better. So please leave those comments as well.
And ask us any questions that you want us to answer so that we can answer those for you, because we will have a section specifically for going through what you're asking us and what you would like us to talk about. So let us know those things. Give us all your opinions, any stories that you have connected to this book, and we would love to see that here.
Yes. And you can see us also. We have more content over at TikTok. We are at Booked and Bonded, and we are also on YouTube at the same handle, and we have an Instagram at the same handle. So please go follow us, like our content, comment on it, and just interact so you don't miss out on any information or background scenes that you could check out on our other socials. And then next episode, we are going to be covering chapters 4 and 5. So if you want to read those ahead of time so you don't get any spoilers, please do so. I hope that your snacks are always endless and your beverages are always cold or hot at the perfect temperature. And we will see you next time. We're your hosts, Lizzie
And Larissa.
And this is Booked and Bonded.
Bye.
Bye.